Fire them up. That's what we do here at the Andrew Gosser. We fire them up. 103.9 WYAB. Happy to be here. Proud to serve. Every day's a holiday. Every meal's a feast. Every paycheck is a fortune. I'm excited. I'm ready to go today. We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. We are streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the 50,000 watt blowtorch of a signal that is 103.9 WYAB, like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Also, follow me on Twitter at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. Yep, that's my Twitter handle. And if you want to be part of the show today, I think it's going to be pretty interactive. Number 601-879-0002. Text line is open, 601-879-5060. Yep, and the mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We are here to equip the troops. Who are the troops? You are the who are the troops? Who are the saints? You are the saints. Yep. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word incites anger. Uh, this has been on my mind all morning, and I entitled the show today, "Is America Adverse to Winning?" Because I see that there's two wars going on in this world right now. One that we're winning, and one that we're losing. And I'm sitting here talking to friends, taking phone calls from not just around Mississippi, but around the United States, military bubbas, wingmen, dudes I used to serve with, both Navy and Air Force. And we're all thinking the same thing. And maybe we're just like-minded. But we are winning one war, absolutely. And we are absolutely allowing the other side to win the propaganda war using our stuff. It's incredible to me. Yesterday, the United States Navy sailed 2 ships through the Straits of Hormuz against the threat of Iranian attacks, missiles, whatnot. They tried to get there and prove to the world that the straits were open. And we are doing that. In fact, 2 U.S. flagged tanker ships, not cruise ships, but tankers, sailed through the Straits of Hormuz successfully. And hey, how about that? No one got shot down and killed. The only people who got shot up were the Iranians themselves. And I think it's a good thing. They're running around causing trouble with their bayliners and 50 cal machine guns. And we planned for this for so long. We really did. We sat there and we made sure that we did our homework. This isn't the first time that Iran has attacked U.S. ships in the Straits of Hormuz. Twice in the 80s. And then they did harassment operations all during that time, including in 2016. Remember, I can't remember who sent it to me, but they sent a picture of Iranians holding Americans hostage, U.S. sailors hostage. Crazy work in 2016. Well, they tried to go and harass the U.S. ships going through the Straits of Hormuz yesterday, and we were prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Top, if you're out there listening, you got some U.S. Army soldiers who are going to get sea medals, which is pretty amazing because we are putting Apache attack helicopters on the flat decks of U.S. Navy ships. That is non-standard, ladies and gentlemen. The last time that I know of that's happened was in 2003 when the USS Kitty Hawk sailed from Japan over to the United States, picked up a bunch of Army helos and trucked them across the pond to get into the Afghan war zone. That's the last time I remember that. Captain Barbary was the commander of the USS Kitty Hawk. Not a good friend of mine, but was my skipper in VF 102 and helped me become the officer that I became. Good morning, Brother Dogfish. So I ask, are we adverse to winning? Because by every measure that I've looked at, militarily speaking, we're crushing it. We are absolutely crushing it. We always like to say that we go ahead and protect the weak, protect those who can't protect themselves, that we're trying to be the honest brokers. And the more I find out about how the United Kingdom and Europe have had a surcharge on every barrel of oil sold, well, since the history of OPEC, and how they're whining and complaining and they're scheming against us as this blockade continues to function appropriately, shutting off Iran. We're reopening up the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. Iraq has God bless the Iraqis. And, I got a lot of time over there. I understand those people. Very technical. The Persian people are very technical. They're very smart. And you know what? They're driving their oil to get to market through Syria. Everybody's finding new ways to do stuff because why? The way we were doing it just wasn't working. This is the way we've always done it. That's just how we have to do it. Really? I I reported earlier last week that the United Kingdom has less GDP than Mississippi. So how in the heck could they afford to do all the stuff that they're doing? I'll tell you why, because they're scheming it off the top of OPEC. And not only are we shutting down Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, the Houthis, and every other Shia Muslim terrorist organization that Iran funded, but guess what? We're shutting down Europe too because they were making money off of that. And as long as they were getting paid, they didn't give a damn about what's right. I always said it's always easy to do the right thing when no one's looking. It's always easy, but when everybody's looking, then that's when it's hard to do the right thing. And right now, everybody's looking at Europe, and they're not doing the right thing. How much has Lloyd's of London lost because of insurance racket that they've had going for worldwide shipping? How much money has Lloyd's of London lost? How much money has the UK government lost because they're not getting their $2 to $3 per barrel of oil trucking through the Straits of Hormuz? Billions, billions of dollars. Over time, trillions. They don't even mind. A small hiccup keeps the prices high. They'll take a day off to go ahead and make more money later down the road. They're shrewd businessmen and women. And I come back and I talk to people, and they're like, "We've gotta get this war over. We gotta get this war over." Wait a minute. You're the ones who are talking about how you don't like the oppression in Iran, how you don't want the spread of Islam across the United States, let alone the world. And now that we're doing something about it, uh-oh, my trip to Applebee's might cost a little bit more in gas. That value meal at the Chick-fil-A is a little bit more. Meanwhile, we continue to decimate OPEC. We continue to make gains with our Arab friends and allies, not so much Europe. Europe threatens to take away our basing rights. I say go for it. Germany doesn't want us there, that's fine. Andy, if you stay out of Europe, they're gonna revert back to socialism and who knows what. Yeah, but if they don't want us there and Americans don't have the spine to put there, bring the boys home. Bring home the air wings and the troops stationed in Germany. Spain doesn't want us there, go leave Rota Naval Station. We gotta keep Sigonella, though. Gotta keep Naples. Have to do something about those pesky Italians. You know, the world does not stay static. The world grows, the world evolves. Threats evolve, threats grow, threats shrink, threats dissolve. And we've lost 13 brave Americans in this operation, and I'd hate to see all the gains and advances that our government has made, that the world has made. And it's like we're so myopic in thinking, and one person, unknown texter, said, "Andrew, you keep on hitting the same topic, but from different angles." I'm like, "Yeah, because I can't figure out how to penetrate the target, so to speak." I fail to see how Americans, and maybe it's just the rock gut culture, but I can't see how Americans can't see the actions that we took in Venezuela, the actions that affected Cuba and Iran, and then finally affecting China. It's huge. And for the most part, the only thing that shows in America right now is higher gas prices. There's absolutely no inconvenience to anybody. There's no war rations like World War II. We're not at a war footing like World War II or even North Korea. We have to say that some of the people who predicted Iranian sleeper cells in America, we were, for the most part, wrong. There've been a couple terrorist attacks, but nothing like what was thought. This could all go south in a minute, of course. You do have a mass shooting in Oklahoma. 19 people get shot, a bunch of people twerking. The videos are truly, the videos, let's be honest. You know what the videos are? Girls Gone Wild 2002. That's exactly what it is. No one's talking about getting together and having a good time. We did it in the 2000s, we did it in the 1990s, we did it in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s. Difference is this generation will shoot a bunch of people up. We've had more violence from that than we've had from Iranian sleeper cells that we know are here. Are we just doing that good of job of holding it together? I'll tell you what, the Apache helicopters taking out the Bayliners with the dual outboards and the 50 cals on top, they didn't even get close to our ships. Apache helicopters and Navy Seahawk, SH-60 Seahawks. I don't know what variant they are. You can go look on open source intelligence websites all over the United States. Put it in your Chat GPT, your Grok. You can get all the specifications you want. I'm not going to talk about it. But what I will talk about is that our U.S. military is opening up the Straits of Hormuz now that we've had enough of this nonsense and BS. Iran's never won a war, but they've never lost in a negotiation, and we're not negotiating with them. You either surrender or you get screwed, get pancaked, you get hammered. And the videos that do come out of Iran, the people want it. There's this thing called the Immortal Guard, and when I first heard about this, I was like, "Oh, this doesn't sound good." It is an internal Iranian group. Persians, not Islamic, not Muslim, Persian. That they're going after the IRGC now on the inside, now that the money's dried up. Now that the IRGC can't pay off their people. Now that they're not getting their oil money. Shout out to Tusi TV. He goes live several times a day. I always try to have my AI skim his thoughts. I just can't watch 4 hours of his programming every day. My time's too valuable. Your time's too valuable. But the Immortal Guard is carrying operations out against the IRGC internally. You can rest assured that every spy agency in the world is also operating inside Iran. The Russians are, the Chinese are, the Brits are, the Germans are, the United States is, Canada. Well, what's Canada doing? Actually, you know what Canada's doing? We're about to finalize a pipeline for more oil coming into the United States from Canada. Quietly. American oil reserves have never been higher. And you know what? Once OPEC breaks, and you're going to see oil crash because we're going to refunnel the system. We're going to reconfigure the system to where we won't have to pay OPEC rates anymore. There won't be a cartel for oil. Lloyd's of London and Great Britain won't be able to skim money off the top of oil. And then, you know, what I want, you know, who should be cheering this on is Miss Green New Deal herself, AOC. But you don't hear nothing out of that. But I've got some audio coming up from that. People are starting to realize what this leftist socialist movement is all about. But does America want to win anymore? Or do we just want to give out participation trophies like we did in the 2000s, late 2000s, and all through the 2010s, 2016, 2018, whatever it was? I don't want the participation trophy. I don't even want a bronze or silver medal. I want the gold. Green Acres used to say the black gold. Is that racist to say black gold? You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Yeah. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 1039 WYAB. This segment is sponsored by Devaney Rental and Equipment, Kubota Orange Days, now through June 30th. Now through June 30th, take advantage of Kubota Orange Days at Devaney Rental and Supply. I always say equipment, and then it says supply here. I always flip-flop that. Featuring big savings. You know, when I bought my cutter 2 years ago, I used the Kubota 0% interest financing. It worked out great. 7-foot cutter for my little farm is great. And there's a reason I'm using Kubota right now is because from tractors to zero-turn motors and excavators and skid steers, Devaney offers a full lineup of high-performance equipment to handle any job, big or small. No matter what the price of oil is, Devaney's going to have it covered. Serving Mississippi for over 50 years, Devaney's knowledgeable and team is committed to helping you find the right equipment with dependable service and support. I'm telling you what, Jody at the support desk over there at their location south of I-20 on Spring Ridge Road, top-notch dude. Everybody there is great people. Devaney, great Mississippi company. Definitely go ahead and check them out online at devaney.equipment.com. They also have a location at Highway 51 in Gluckstadt. Really appreciate Devaney sponsoring the show. And this moves right into what a texter, and you know, this texter doesn't always agree with me, but I appreciate it because they're actually thinking, and I think it's a guy. What about diesel prices for farmers? Aren't you a farmer? You sound asinine. Yes, I am a farmer, but I have morals, and I don't want the terrorist making money off of me. I have more worry about U.S. senators and congressmen going after farmers than I do Iraq or Iran. And I'm just being truthful. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck dude or dudette. I want to be able to farm the way I want to farm. I'm more upset that the Farm Bill gives amnesty to pesticide producers. Are farmers hurting right now? Yeah, we're hurting. But this has been the setup that's been being played for over 40 years. And if we keep on doing the same thing that we're doing, we're just enslaving ourselves to OPEC. And I meant that word on purpose. I thought you said that the market sets the prices, not OPEC. The market sets the prices for a lot of things, but not oil. OPEC voluntarily does that. They say Saudi Arabia, and I'm just pulling these numbers out of air just to prove a point. You're going to produce 5 million barrels of oil per day. United Arab Emirates, you're going to do 2 million. Iran, you're going to do whatever you're going to do because you're doing it off the table and under the rug to China. Venezuela, you're going to do 2 million. United States, you're not in it, so that's not going to matter. Kuwait, you're going to do so much. Well, what if United Arab Emirates says, well, I don't want to do 2 million. I want to do 4 million. I got projects I want to get done. Well, that's going to lower the price of oil. What the OPEC cartel does is it takes competition out of it. And the largest oil reserves in the world, believe it or not, are Venezuela number 1 and United States number 2, Canada number 3, then all these Arab states. But because there's more Arab states, they just crank out a higher production. Not only that, but the United States has been very, very negative on oil exploration and production because of people like AOC. So I thought when you say that I want the free market does set the prices for most things, but not oil because of OPEC. And if I didn't say that clearly, dude, I am sorry. I thought I made that clear the other day, but if I didn't, I hope I cleared it up now. So what Canada is doing, whatever, it still can't sell gas cheaper to America. Well, it can if we decide that we want to bust up OPEC and tick off all of our allies over in the Middle East right now, which we're not trying to do. We're just trying to open up the Straits of Hormuz. But how many people knew that Europe and the UK were skimming money off the top of oil? How do you think that they can afford to do such socialist experiments all over Europe, like Spain and France and Germany? Well, they were getting oil money. At the same time, they were talking about the Green New Deal and how great it was. I got a video on it, actually, and let's listen to it in 3, 2, 1. Listen to this snobbish nose ring wearing Brit.
We could set the way for the whole planet by committing to stopping oil.
The problem I have is this idea that the one group of people have decided that they are the ones to save the world. How dare you question us because we know what's right. I'm going to glue my hand to some tarmac and then I'm going to be a martyr and I'm going to be a good person while the rest of us can't get on with our day. I'm more than twice her age. You know, I've got kids, I've got a job, I've got an elderly mother. We have to get on with our lives. I can't afford an electric car. I can't afford a heat pump. Most people can't afford that. It's about ego. There's no doubt that we've had a winter without any protests, but as soon as the sun comes out, oh, it's eco-festival time. And it is a festival. It's a big jamboree. It's let's get on social media. Let's sit down with a placard. Let's advertise to my friends what a great person I am. While the rest of ordinary people who have to go to work can't get to work. What's your response?
I just can't believe that that's what you're saying.
And that's just what the left does. I can't believe you're questioning me. All these Green New Deal people, all these people who want, are sitting there fighting for higher oil. Now that we've got higher oil, oh, it's not how we wanted to get higher oil. We wanted to have our socialist overlords control the oil supply. Do I want farmers to succeed? Yeah, I want farmers to succeed. But if we do that, you're going to see food prices rise. We've artificially lowered the price of food in America. And not only that, all this processed food is the cheap stuff that everybody's buying and living off of anyway. You know, a 2-pound pack of ground lamb goes for $25. A 2-pack of ground beef goes for about $22 if you're getting the good stuff. You pay that in a Walmart and there's riots. But you'll take the processed stuff from China all day long at $7.99 a pound. You'll take the steak for $20 a pound, when if you buy the U.S. Mississippi grass-fed beef, it's a little bit more expensive. So do I want farmers to succeed? Yep. But it's so much bigger than just oil. It's so much bigger than just the price of food at the stores. It's what we're being fed and how we're educating ourselves. We are what we consume, right, dude? I say it all the time. We are what we can consume. Are you consuming good food, or are you consuming processed junk? I got sent this video. They wanted me to play it. It was a person complaining about their EBT card not being able to buy a Snickers bar, a Kit Kat, and a Dr. Pepper at a Walgreens in Chicago. I'm not going to play it. How is that healthy for anybody? How should EBT be doing that? We've set up a whole system, a whole ecological system, and the only people who are fighting it are Trump and a few of his lieutenants, and that's it. If you think the Republicans are supporting Trump, no, they're not. Where's the Save America Act, Representative John Thune? How come Cindy Hyde-Smith and Roger Wicker aren't out there screaming from the rafters saying, pass the Save America Act right now? What's going on with the prosecution of Anthony Fauci? You know, we only have 1 week left to prosecute him for the suspected crimes that he did during the COVID-19 outbreak. And I say suspected because until it's actually convicted, I can't say liability. But we've all watched Died Suddenly. I know John is if he hasn't watched it yet, he's going to watch it. He's going to do his research. He's a man of his word. You've got all these people who are sitting there making billions of dollars, trillions of dollars off the American worker, the American taxpayer. And we are so uneducated, and we have fallen for the rope-a-dope because of our cell phones and our devices that we don't even know who to be mad at. Do we really want to win? Do we really want to win? Do we want to go through and pay the price it takes to actually win? I feel quite certain that we would have lost the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the World War I and World War II if we would have had the mainstream media of today and cell phones. You are listening to The Andrew Gossip Show on 103.9 WYAB. Be right back. Oh, welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show, right here on the 103.9 WYAB radio station. We're rocking and rolling. I'm multitasking as I'm doing stuff right now because Dogfish just sent in a great text. It's time to evict the useless UN from the country. Yep, I am. I'm all for it. You know, Iran, which makes women wear full burqas, and if a piece of hair gets out of place, they get acid thrown in their faces. Where are the feminazis in America protesting Iran on this? Women's rights. Right now, Iran serves on key committees, including the vice chairman of the budget committee for the United Nations. The Committee for Program and Coordination. Iran, vice chair. Commission for Social Development for the 65th session, 2026 and 2027, focuses on social integration, poverty education, and related issues like gender equality and democracy. Iran, really? And we're funding them. You know, there's a story that's breaking right now, and it's not being picked up by the mainstream press yet, but it will. But USAID in 2022 was funneling all this money to Ukraine. Remember, to support the war in Ukraine? Well, Ukraine was trying to send $200 million back to Joe Biden's campaign for 2024. It's ridiculous. This whole system needs to collapse and fall. And if it means that oil prices go up, if it means that America has to have some hardship for a while, if it means that we have to rebase our education system, if it means losing our cell phones, I'm for it. Although I don't think this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, because with what's being produced by America today, our kids, our 3 to 8-year-olds are way behind 3 to 8-year-olds back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even 2000s. The rot gut is real. The rot gut is real. We do need to get rid of that. And just to follow this up, people are spamming my Twitter account saying, "Look, United Arab Emirates getting hit with missiles." Yes, Iran can't hit our ships, so they're going after our allies, and our allies are saying, "Keep pressing." 12 ballistic missiles, 3 cruise missiles, and 4 drones hit the United Arab Emirates just within the last hour. And we have people sitting here at home getting ready to go to Pizza Hut for lunch, complaining. We are so disconnected, friends. We really are. We are so disconnected, and we can't even we're like holding up our virtues that this country was founded on, but we don't know how to enact it now. And this whole issue, they keep on saying you'll own nothing but like everything. It's happening, and I got sent this. I want to find it here real quick. It's going to take me a hot minute. I apologize for that. But this woman bought an HP printer. And because she's not paying her monthly subscription for that printer that she bought, it's not printing. This is, and I've fact checked this. I've went and checked on it, and there's a community note on it. It's true.
Okay, listen to me. I just tried to print something from my printer that I own. My printer that I own with ink that I purchased, and paper. And I can't print without a subscription plan. The concept of having to have a subscription plan to print in your own home from the printer that you own that already has ink and paper in it, they remotely shut off my printer until I paid $7.50 to print in my own home. To print on my printer that I own in my home.
This poor liberal girl can't handle it. She can't handle it. Hey, go ahead. You're on the air.
I just want to back you up on that. There's a lot of reports you can go and look up, but on your newer vehicles, if you don't pay your subscription, your air conditioner don't work, your radio don't work,
Yep.
heated cooled seats don't work. It's not just the printers; it's going to be everything. Everything that doesn't, you're not going to own it. You're gonna pay for it like you own it, but then you're going to have to pay every month to have a subscription, and it's just that's where everything's going.
You're exactly right, Rick, and you're leading me right into where I was just talking about. The Tesla cars, they have subscription rates for certain, or not. It wasn't Tesla. I think it was BMW or Mercedes or one of those with the heated seats and everything like that. People are paying $100,000 for a car, and their heated seats don't work because you're not paying a monthly subscription. It's like they're trying to.
Do you really own it?
You,
and this whole other thing where when you get in your truck or car and the AI is going to say, "Oh, you look like you're upset," so we're just going to pull over and shut down.
That's coming.
That's ridiculous.
That's coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's totally coming. And if you don't own your car, do you really own your house? Do you really own your farm? Do you really own your land?
Well, okay, if they can do it with the car, let's just be hypothetical here. If they can do it with your car, then how come they can't use the smart meters they have in your house? We know where everybody wants to use Alexa and everybody wants to have their smart thermostats and refrigerators that show them what's on the inside. They can use all that crap and then tell you that, hey, you're in a bad mood. I think you shouldn't leave your house today.
Yep. You're having an emotional, rough day. I mean,
I think you should stay home. And then your door's just locked. And y'all think I'm crazy. And I know it sounds crazy, but if they're doing it to your car, that's just an extension of your home. That's all that is.
Well, what the argument would be against that, Rick, is what you do in your home is your business. When you're on the road, you're on a publicly provided. It's not a right. It's a privilege to drive down the road in America.
Well, I could argue that the Castle Doctrine is extended to your car, so there's that.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not arguing. I'm just going to let you know what the liberal mantra
I
is.
agree with you. I agree. I'm just trying to give the opposite side of it.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can argue about it. It doesn't matter. If we let them do this to our cars and to our printers and to our, it's going to be the same way with your TV guys. Y'all think y'all are going to I'm just going to watch the game and I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. You sit there and watch the black screen because it's going to be the same way with that too.
I haven't had cable in a long time, but I notice how the YouTube algorithm changes. Subscriptions. I haven't had a subscription for a while. I did buy Disney Plus for 1 month to watch Maul Shadow Lord. I am a Star Wars nerd, and I've already canceled it. But it's how this whole economy is moving. And we're not training our public. Our kids are growing up. They're just thinking that this is how it always has been. And if we don't write things down, if we don't teach our kids how to write and read and not the screens that's being pumped into them 24/7, but books and literature, we're going to be in a sorry state in just 10 years, man. It's going to we're not going to
Well,
recognize the United States anymore.
we're the last generation because our kids are growing up, thinking that the internet and subscriptions and trannies and all that's normal. We grew up where there was no internet. Like I was alive when the internet actually became available,
Yeah.
and we're the last generation that knows what it used to be like. And if it don't stop with us, it's never going to stop.
It's not that I want it to stop. We have to evolve. We have to go forward, but we also have to do so in a way that we're living in reality, not in a digital fantasy AI world, which is ridiculous. And that's where we're going. I'll give you the last word on this, my friend.
Man, I just don't even know where to start. I agree with a lot of the things you said earlier, but at the same time, I think the government's lying to us, and so I just don't ever know what to believe. I mean, whatever you search for on the internet, if you want to search that the U.S. military is dominating the straits, you're going to find every article you want to see about it. If you want to see that the U.S. ships are 600-700 miles off the coast and they can't get close because of hypersonic missiles, you're going to find 100 articles on it. It doesn't matter what you search. So where's the truth? And I think you got to have some discernment and try to realize what's BS and what's not.
Yep. I think you have to have discernment, and we've got to go to the people who have been there and done that. And we're not going to get the full story. They're not going to tell us exactly where Abraham Lincoln is or where George H.W. Bush is. But without getting into numbers and ranges and specifics, I really can't say. All I can say is they're a lot closer than what people are leading on to believe, who want to say that we're 700 miles away because we're afraid of hypersonic missiles. I can tell you that that's
God bless them.
Yep. What it takes, not everybody can be a U.S. military member. Everybody thinks that, your base soldier, your base Marine, your base sailor, airman, whatever, is just, it takes a special person to enlist. And then you kick it up and start doing special programs and stuff. It's even more special of a person. Brother, I got to run. I'm running late. Thank you so much for the call, my friend. That was Brother Rick, everybody. This is the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're going to take our last commercial break of the hour. Yes, this is the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. There is an uprising. Those of us with common sense are getting sick and tired of putting up with all these liberal dreamland fantasies of one world utopia government. And we're doing so in a way that isn't incendiary to people who are in the sensible middle, who are on the right. But man, if you're one of these Kool-Aid drinking lefties, you're going nuts. In the next hour, it's going to be lit, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a story from Data Republican, small r. If you are not following her on X, you're kind of failing. For those of you who don't know who she is an independent journalist who is an investigative reporter who uses AI in ways that most of us only think about and dream about. And it's incredible what she's uncovered. And we've got a blockbuster story there. We're also going to talk about Walgreens. And I'm going to continue to use other cities around the nation to explain what's happening in Jackson. Clay and Kim, Lindsay, Chip, they got Mississippi covered. I'm trying to bring outside examples to kind of show you, hey, this is the way we need to move. This is the way we need to go. Because if we don't put this all together and start taking charge of things locally, we can't hope to do anything nationally. I've gotten questions on how I feel about redistricting. I'll talk about that next hour, I think, a little bit too. I know that there are a lot of Republicans who want to redistrict. I know that there's some that don't. And there are arguments to be made on both sides. I think I firmly fall down on one side, but I might be in the minority. I don't know about that. We've got to talk about Walgreens. We might even talk about Morton Salt. We've got to sit there and look, because these are two companies that could have came to Jackson, in my opinion. They could have come to Jackson. They could have ended up taking up important real estate space. Would have been an incredible income, not only to the city of Jackson, but to the county of Hinds, Mississippi, and to the state of Hinds County and to the state of Mississippi. It would have been awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's a missed opportunity, in my opinion. And of course, we'll take your phone calls too. I really do appreciate the comments on the war. People commenting on. We didn't even know about what was happening in the Gulf of, or the Straits of Hormuz with the AH-64s. No one thought that we would do something like that. We're thinking out of the box. We'll continue to do that here on the Andrew Gosser Show.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Despite attacks between the U.S. military and Iran recently, says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at today's Pentagon briefing.
No, the ceasefire is not over. Ultimately, this is a separate and distinct project, and we expected there would be some churn at the beginning, which happened. And we said we would defend aggressively, and we absolutely have. Iran knows that.
Pentagon officials say Project Freedom has had the U.S. military escort 2 American commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. No word if insurance companies will greenlight more international shipping in what has been part of the war zone. Gasoline prices will keep going up until the Strait opens, says Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy.
If the Strait remains closed, into the month of June, I think by July 4, we'll be at all-time record highs.
After several deaths from a rare virus on a cruise ship that left Argentina for the South Atlantic, this update from the World Health Organization's Maria Vanderkove in Geneva.
At this stage, there are no additional symptomatic people on board. That said, the situation is being closely monitored, and as a precaution, passengers have been asked to remain in their cabins while disinfection and other public health measures are carried out.
You might pay for part of that Trump White House ballroom, says ABC's Stephen Portnoy in Washington.
The president has insisted the $400 million ballroom would be funded privately, but Senate Republicans now propose to put $1 billion in taxpayer dollars toward the project for its security enhancements. In court filings, the administration has said those upgrades would include bomb shelters, a hospital, top-secret military installations, missile-resistant steel columns, drone-proof ceilings, and blast-proof glass. Republicans now aim to add the money to a measure that would provide 3 years of funding for ICE and the Border Patrol using a procedure that Senate Democrats can't block with a filibuster.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy, Wall Street, an up day so far, and you're listening to ABC News.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text SPARK to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPARK to 215-215. That's SPARK to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose.
Local news on 103.9 WYAB, brought to you by AARP of Mississippi, making a difference in communities throughout the state. AARP.org. $4 a gallon gas is close. Possible severe weather in this part of central Mississippi, both tomorrow and tomorrow night. This evening, the threat starts in the northwest part of the state. The Storm Prediction Center says central Mississippi is in a 2 and 5 risk for severe storms Wednesday with hail, strong, and possibly damaging winds as threats. Today, you get sunny and 84. Tonight, you get mostly cloudy and 57. Wednesday, though, it's an 80% chance for rain and storms with a high at 84. Rain continues into Thursday when the high will be 72. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. The average price for gas in Mississippi is now $3.90, says Gas Buddy, 10 cents away from $4. The national average is now at $4.47. The least expensive in the metro is still $3.63 at a station on Northside Drive in Jackson. One of the conspirators in the welfare scandal has been sentenced to 1 year in prison and 4 years probation, 5 years after agreeing to plead guilty to 1 count of conspiracy in exchange for a lighter sentence. Hinds County DA Jody Owen says the sentence is right because Ann McGrew took responsibility for her part. 3 people were killed in a wreck in Collins Saturday night. About 11:30, says the Mississippi Highway Patrol. They have not said yet what caused the wreck, but they say it happened on Blakeney Creek Church Road, that it involved 1 car and that 3 other people were also hurt. Jones County deputies believe 36-year-old Antonio Kalehua was drunk when he ran from them and ran into a business in Laurel, causing some damage to the front door before being tackled by a deputy Sunday. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
Doctor, the AC doctor, what's your diagnosis? My whole house was hot as a fever. Now my house frozen, cause my air conditioning's on. Doctor, my AC's broken. Doctor, the AC doctor, he healed my house, bless my soul.
The AC Doctors is your one-stop provider for air conditioning and heating installation, service, and repair. Contact us for money-saving repairs and lower energy bills.
Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
Google the AC Doctors and get some relief today. TheACDR.com.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Welcome back to the second hour of the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. And we're streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the 50,000 watt blowtorch that is 103.9 WYAB, like, share, and subscribe. We'd appreciate that. Give me a follow on X. I repost all of my news sources that I use for the show right there on my account. It's just at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. Phone line is open, 601-879-0002. Text line is open, 601-879-5060. And the mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. Yep. Gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word incites anger. And got this text in. The most dangerous form of blindness is believing your perspective is the only reality. Frederick, and I'm not even going to try to say his last name, but it's true. It's why I go to the liberal sites to check stuff out. And then I use my own experience where I am a subject matter expert. I lean into that, and where I'm not, I go to try to find the experts. And one of the experts out there that I'm following and I really appreciate is Data Republican. And to show you how deep this rot is that we're trying to get rid of right now. Oh, and I don't want to skip the chat. We also pay a yearly subscription to the government to rent our land. That's true, Blue Sim. You can say you own your land, but if you don't pay your taxes, you're in trouble. Unless you're a 100% disabled vet. That's the only people I know who don't have to pay property tax on their property. And then Rebel Ray from YouTube says, what self-respecting Republican would not want to redistrict? Well, maybe we go to redistricting first, because Shed White's called for it. Byron Donaldson, who's running for governor of Florida to take Ron DeSantis' place, is called for it on Benny Johnson's show. There are people out there calling for Mississippi to redistrict, but I have not yet heard Governor Tate Reeves, Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann, Speaker of the House Jason White, or Republican Chairman call for redistricting of Benny Thompson's district. I don't know if we have the ability to do it. I don't know if there's the political will to do it. We have the ability to do it. We have the votes. We could do it right now. Snap of the fingers, pop, pop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. Snap, crackle, pop, done. You could do it. But this is the argument I think that some of them, the more pragmatory type of conservative would say is, what's going to happen in 40 years if the shoes flip-flop? And now the Democrats have control over everything, and then they do a Illinois on us, or they do a Connecticut on us, or they do a California on us. And I'm in that group for about 10 minutes. And people are like, 10 minutes? Yeah, I want to think through everything. The left has already done it. And if they've already done it, then there's no reason why we can't return in kind. Does this mean that every 2 years, if there's a redistricting going on, that the state of Mississippi or the state of Florida or the state of Illinois or the state of California is going to redistrict their stuff? It's just going to make our representative republic a giant mess. And everybody wants to blame Trump for this, but this has been going on by the left. They've just been more sneaky and crafty about it. And politically speaking, that's like Emperor Palpatine level stuff right there, making the whole citizenry believe that the good guys are the bad guys and the bad guys are the good guys. And then Rebel Ray is texting in and saying, when you turn, is it 65? Man. Yep. When you turn 65 in Mississippi, you don't have to pay property taxes, homestead exemption. That's awesome. Does it work for your farm too? That'd be great, man, if I didn't have to pay taxes on my farm. I know my homestead is exempt, but that'd be awesome if, because like with my farm, the house is separate from the actual farm. I know some places aren't like that. Some places are. But that's how it works for me. But I think that's cool that Mississippi does that. But what's that do to all of our young up-and-comers, to our kids who are trying to so desperately buy a house right now, but can't because the corporations are coming in and buying up all the single-family homes and then renting them out? I know that's happening in Mississippi. I'm positive of it. But getting back to redistricting, I think the Supreme Court district should be redrawn because we were forced to redraw it. And then I think those House and Senate seats that we had to run in this past fall because of that judicial ruling should be redistricted. And if we have the political will to do it for Benny's district, then that's great. Rebel Ray, your local property tax resident expert. I'm calling you an expert. I'm not saying you're licensed or anything, so do your own due diligence, but just for your primary residence. So, but yep, my farm is still going to have to pay taxes. That's all right. I'll deal with it. But that's why I'm not like head over heels for redistricting. I want to do it, but I just didn't say yes, do it right away. I didn't want to ready, aim, fire. And I think it can be done. It will really come down to whether or not the executive committees in the Republican Party make enough noise. That means, like Hinds County, Rankin County, Madison County, the chairman are going to have to go up to Mike Hurst, the GOP chairman, and say, hey, this is something we would like. And it's also going to come down to you reaching out to your state reps and state senators saying, hey, we'd like to do this. Maybe reaching out to Delbert Hosemann, Jason White, and Governor Reeves too. And that's the real power of this show, I feel, is that if we get enough people who want to reach out and be active locally in their politics, things tend to go a lot better. I think we've beat that horse enough. Breaking, former DHS, Department of Homeland Security Chief Miles Taylor prank site collected death threats against the president and 4,000 other people's personal data, then exposed them through an all open API. So what this is, for those of you who don't know what I just read, is there's these left-wing organizations out there that collect data, but they don't secure that data. They keep it on the World Wide Web. And then people find out about it, and then we find out who these crazy people are. And that's what Data Republican just did. And I've retweeted this on my X account. So if you want to go follow along, double check my work, I appreciate that. 2 days ago, I showed you Miles Taylor's GTFO, you know what that is, ICE site, exposed 17,000 people's data on an OpenAI. That site landed high signups and is still under construction. But Taylor's organization, Defiance.org, just didn't build one leaky site. They built two, untrump.org. So these people are running around collecting all this data. And you wonder where all these rent-a-protesters are coming from. And this was a DHS chief, ladies and gentlemen. A DHS chief was leading this. Launched April 1st, 2026, as an April Fool's joke, collects the names, emails, and political messages from people signing up for fictional removal parties of all government buildings, the White House ballroom, the Kennedy Center, the Department of Justice, battleships. I mean, she's got all the data right there. 4,000 plus sign-up records, 3,300 unique people, and it's zero authentication, zero security. Be careful of these websites that you go to, ladies and gentlemen, and you start signing up for stuff. Because once you put your digital signature out there, it's you. And she comes with the receipts, which I really appreciate. You can go ahead and click on these pictures. And, you know, it's got his name, and it's blacked out, email blacked out, because you don't want to dox the person. This is important to me because he's not a real president. He is an imposter who would rather rape, kill, and eat babies and children. He needs to be executed publicly on live television. That's apparently what this former DHS chief put into this API. You know, I've signed up for political campaigns, newsletters, and stuff like that. I'm 53 years old, almost 54. Man, I'm almost 54. And I have never posted some screed like that. When did we get to turn into a country where we've said it's okay to go ahead and think like that? And then she's just got a picture of all these different IDs of all these different people. It's computer political language coding, and I don't do that anymore. But she does. Her and her team, and the power of AI is incredible. Data Republican is a resource that must be protected at all costs. So when Republicans start arguing with Republicans about certain stuff, I always try to lean back in to show the Republicans, hey, we're all on the same side here. That's why we need the Save America Act. That's why we need to go ahead and redistrict. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, per se. But if we're not acting on the same page locally and on the state and nationally, we're going to lose by default. They'll just keep on slicing away. 4,400 records, 3,300 individual people who signed up for this, many of which had threatening posts and messages about our president. I don't know. I was pretty vocal about Joe Biden. I never called for his public execution. I would never call for it. Or Barack Obama, or Bill Clinton, or George Bush, or any of them. The political left is violent. Well, I won't even say that. It's not the centrist Democrats. It's these ideologues, the AOCs, the Maxine Waters, the Nancy Pelosi's. Who's that purple-haired or blue-haired lady from Connecticut who always seems to get on the TV? Formaldehyde in her veins, man, because she's pretty old. She's pretty old. But I just found that very interesting that we have former Biden officials running websites after they left office, too. After they left office. Trying to collect all this stuff up. I know it's late, but let's do it anyway. Go ahead, you're on the... Oh, hey, you're going to have to call back. Call back after commercial. I mean, I hate that. Sometimes I answer the phone and it just gets all crackly and crankly. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I hope they call back. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Yeah, got it. And we are back here at the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. People asking me to post that news report about the bombshell about USAID trying to give money back to Joe Biden, $200 million back in 2022. I've got that video queued up. I'll play it either in the next segment or at the end of the show. I should have played it earlier, but I want to get to the Walgreens stuff because my goodness gracious, lovable me. People have lost their minds. They've lost their stinking minds. And it's happening in bigger cities right now. But if we are not careful, it will happen here in Mississippi. And we already see it. We've talked to people about the food deserts. We've talked to people about how tough it is to go grocery shopping inside Jackson, how Kroger's and Walmart won't go into the city limits. Listen to this Chicago alderman. Listen very carefully to what he says.
Is it true that folks are stealing? They're stealing everywhere. Because when you cut jobs in people's communities and folks want to figure out how do I provide for my kids or if I can go to a store and steal a loaf of bread. Is stealing right? No. But
No. So if stealing's not right, then you don't conduct it at all. And if there's a job shortage, you look at why is your community resorting to that? Could it be that your culture isn't conducive to capitalism? Is it your culture more of socialistic type of nature? I'm not saying this from a place of hate. I'm asking this as a real question. Why is it that if I, Andrew Gosser, who have money to dispose of, I could literally go in and buy a storefront and put in a grocery store in Jackson? Why wouldn't I do that if I knew that community's leaders are prone to stealing? You wouldn't do that. There's not one person listen to this, my voice, that would actually open up a store where they knew they were going to get stolen from and robbed.
what's wrong is first degree corporate abandonment.
So this is where I want to go ask all my lawyers out there. What is first degree corporate abandonment? Can somebody tell me where that is in the U.S. code or the Illinois state code? Because I'm pretty sure this alderman is just talking out of his rear end, like a lot of our aldermen in Jackson are, when it comes to data centers and everything like that. Why is it that people are moving out of Jackson? Businesses are moving out of Jackson.
Because is it true that folks...
And that's the end of that clip right there. Look, this isn't a problem that's happening in Black communities or white communities or Indian communities or Asian communities. This is a problem that's happening in Democrat communities, ladies and gentlemen, because Republicans ain't putting up with that. You go try to rob a store in Brandon and see how well you are taken care of. You'll be hooked right up. And then you'll get to go into Sheriff Bailey's system. We'll see how that works out for you. Oh, hopefully this is the caller calling back. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, this is Willie.
Hey, Brother Willie.
All right. I wanted to comment on a couple of things you said. You asked a question about, is this country, have we, like, getting tired of winning or just don't care about whether we win or lose? And I would say that this started years ago when Mr. Obama got in, he was talking badly about the United States, that we shouldn't be the lead. We shouldn't be a leader, that we let other countries lead. And this country right here is always leading, you know?
Yep.
And I think it just developed people's mind thoughts that people just start to say, well, maybe he's right. Maybe we don't need to be doing all of this. And maybe other countries should take the lead. And that's the first thing. And then you asked a question during the last segment about you can't understand, or I'm paraphrasing, why what's wrong with the Democrat Party or the left. You said the left.
Yep.
And I said, I thought for myself, I said, you know, they're godless. You know, I mean, look at the way they believe in abortion up on demand, and and up to the time of birth. You
Yep.
know, that's evil. They are godless. That's why. You know, that's why they're saying that they want to kill. They'll be happy Mr. Trump got killed. You know, you won't find no true conservative making a statement like that. But this is okay with them because they don't know God. And one other thing, I don't know where you in Mississippi back in at that time when Mr. Obama ran for a second term, and they had a convention, and and during that convention, they voted 3 times whether to take Jesus off of that platform.
Yep, I remember
You
that.
know, and view them. Well, that tells you like that shouldn't even been an issue.
Yep.
That
Hey,
shouldn't even been an issue. But that lets you know the kind of people you're dealing with, and people need to open their eyes and remember, vote for so vote the Bible. That's all. Vote the Bible. You know, that's it. But, and I'm not just talking about Republicans, Democrats, because if you find some Republicans that feels that way too, don't vote for them either.
Nope.
You know, that's the way I feel, okay?
Hey,
I
Brother
just
Willie.
wanted to tell you that. You take care.
Yep. Thank you, Brother Willie. Always
All right.
appreciate you checking in. And you bring up a point, voting the biblical worldview. Brother Jameson used to say it all the time. And perhaps he does a better job of tying that in sometimes. But I'm telling you what, when you have a godless society, that's when you get the craziness, the not the abortions, the homosexual marriage, the lack of parenting. Look, this is all something that's happened recently in recent history. You go back to the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, 1500s. Every once in a while, you had a society that fell to debauchery, but there's history of that. The Greeks, the Romans, and now this society is doing the same thing again. And we are so stupid because we have our cell phones shoved so far up our nose that we can't see what's happening to us. And it's not about what's right and wrong, like Brother Willie says. It's how we feel, how we get angry. We get mad at Brother Kim and Brother Clay when they talk about black culture. You really get mad when Clay does it because he's white. And he's just pointing out the obvious. And it's not to say that white people don't do the same thing again. It doesn't get glamorized for whatever reason. No examples of doing that. People are asking, who's the alderman? Chicago Alderman William Hall wants Walgreens to face charges for closing over a shoplifting crisis. And here's the best part of the whole thing right here.
Walgreens should be charged with first-degree corporate abandonment. Yes. It should be a crime the way they're treating our elders. Yes. It should be a crime the way they're treating our families.
It should be a crime for stealing. And then it's got a picture of the empty shelves because it's been looted. And shout out to End Wokeness for posting this. I'm reposting it right now on my timeline on X, so you can educate and inform yourselves as well. That's the whole thing with this show and this platform. Everybody's talking about platforming certain views and everything. I don't hide from what I say. I come up here every day, and people are more than welcome who disagree. And the best part about it is because you tell me when you see me at the Kroger in Clinton, and you complain to me that you have to drive all the way to Clinton because it's the closest Kroger, and there's not a grocery store closer to you in Jackson. Why is it that there's more gun shootouts at gas stations in Jackson than there is in Brandon or in Madison? It's the culture. It's common respect. Where to go down the path that Brother Willie talked about? Where are the pastors and the preachers in Jackson, or is just none of them going to church anymore? Or are your churches fake churches, which is even worse, where you don't talk about forgiveness and sanctity, you talk about abortion and getting even? It's more than okay to talk about politics from the pulpit too. There's plenty of sermons that can be preached down that way. Rebel Ray goes, for most of my life, I didn't believe that America should police the rest of the world. But with everything like the Iran debacle, I've changed my mind. And that's just the whole thing about it, Rebel Ray. It is that we have to look at the data, we have to go through everything, and we have to say, at what point do we make a difference? At what point do we get involved? Like in Somalia right now, the Sweet Bee and I watched a documentary on Somalia yesterday, and I was like, well, I talked about my military service over there. The USS America was off the coast of Mogadishu when all that went down. I've got some pretty strong feelings about it being so close and yet so far. And do we really need to be over there messing around in that stuff? The sources say no until they get nuke or weapon of mass destruction, then I want to be involved. Somalia right now is completely exploiting the United States of America. The construction that's going on in Mogadishu and that one city in Somaliland, ladies and gentlemen, it makes Jackson look like a third world country compared to Mogadishu. Mogadishu looked better. And we can't even stand up and want to prosecute this fraud that's going on in Minnesota. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Oh, Andy, I just don't like it that you talk about all these other states where all this stuff's going on. What matters here is in Jackson. You racist. Too little, too late. Jackson Jambalaya, Kingfish, breaking the story, top story on his blog right now. Highly recommend you check it out daily. I do. JPD finally did its job. Its latest press release states on Friday, May 1st, 2026, JPD arrested 61-year-old Gregory Carr for the burglary of 3190 Medgar Evers Martin's Furniture. Caller IC, you're going to have to wait a minute. Carr appeared in municipal court on Monday, May 4th, and received a 15K secured bond. This has happened after 6 months earlier. The owner of the store begged for help at a meeting at the Jackson City Council. Patrick Martin said thieves had hit his store 15 times in the last 6 months. Martin reported the crimes to JPD, but nothing ever got done. Well, guess what? There's a big picture of it saying, guess what? For sale, completely cleaned out. Another business in Jackson gone. Why? Because thugs are sitting there robbing their own people. And Jackson Jambalaya brings the receipts. He's got the YouTube video and the transcript of the whole thing. And you know what? I wasn't going to read the transcript, but I'm going to. Because this is a man going to his government for help. And the local people put in the mayor and chose the JPD, the sheriff, law enforcement. This is the people getting the services that they want and deserve. Patrick Martin, owner who shut down his furniture store because it got hit 15 times. Good morning. I'm Patrick Martin. I represent Martin's Furniture and Appliances. We have been a business off of Medgar Evers Boulevard. We've been in business for over, drum roll please, 60 years. And I'm here because of all the break-ins that we keep having, and we can't get anything done. We've been broken into probably 15 times in the past 6 months. The prior year, probably another 10 times. We've given over videos of people coming in and going, breaking in. We've given over the tools that they used, trying to get them to come and get fingerprints off of it, and nothing ever gets done. And now you've got a small business that is the backbone of Jackson leaving town. This is what he also said. We were broken into not last night, the night before, and I had officers come out there and they had merchandise out on our parking lot, and they said they were taken from our store, and they said they were chrome rims. And I'm like, you could get fingerprints off those merchandise, and they left. They didn't even take anything from them. What does that say about JPD? What does that say about the mayor and the alderman? Well, let's scroll down here. Because, member Kenny Stokes, he got to get his juice in. And this reminds me of just like a couple of the county board members I used to serve with. Always getting in the front end. Mr. Kenny Stokes. Thank you, Mr. President. This company that we have out on the agenda, and Hometown Barbecue and the Marshall Shopping Center that we're trying to save. This company is a win-win for the inner city neighborhoods. People come, they're within walking distance. They have layaway. They have things poor people need. And to allow criminals to run good people out of these neighborhoods is absolutely wrong. We need to run the criminals out of these neighborhoods and keep helping people like Martin. Well, Mr. Stokes, all I'm going to say is you've been there for a while now. You oversee the police department. You have a vote. This is crazy. And here he sounds like a Republican. He actually sounds like a Republican. I just hope, and I'm going to see that we can meet the U.S. Attorney's Office and that everybody else, because the sales tax in this city for the last 20 years has gone down almost 30%. We cannot keep losing businesses. Cities need sales tax. Counties do not receive sales tax. But people like Martin's closing down. It's going to hurt us even more. We're not going to be able to pay the firemen, the policemen, and others because poor people cannot pay these taxes. And that the gentrification issue comes up. And we have a way to fund our police department and our fire department and fix the roads and the lights. But no, that's racist. That's gentrification. I don't know about Hometown Barbecue. But when I saw this come up and I'm sitting there, man, I know I'm over the target when I'm talking about this. I didn't even know Kingfish put this out when my show went live. All I know is that Walgreens is a multi-billion-dollar business that's moving out of Chicago. They were from the Chicagoland area. And here's a hometown business in Jackson. Over 60 years, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone through the civil rights era when the Klan actually had power. This guy been through it all. This was, and I'm not being a smart aleck here. I'm being serious. This guy is Mississippi through and through, Jackson through and through. Multi-generations have been through this business. You just can't build a business for 60 years and have that kind of influence in the community. I could build a pizza shop tomorrow, put it in downtown, and it's like losing Big Apple. Martin's Furniture and Appliances, gone. I should go up and try to pull up their tax records to see how much they paid in taxes. And then maybe, subtract the mayor's salary and these aldermen's salary to recoup that tax stuff. It's absolutely astounding to me. And their hometown barbecue has the same problem. This is Mr. Kenneth Stokes again. I will read this because, I'm going to skip the hometown barbecue, although hometown barbecue needs to be spared too. Maybe I go visit them just to say I heard Kenny Stokes talking about him and give him some business. Medgar Evers needs Martins. And I'll say it again. Medgar Evers Boulevard needs Martins. And I know they have a for-sign sale now. If we don't get these criminals out of there, these inner city neighborhoods, there's not going to be anything left. And listen to this. This is where it really gets good. We lost McDonald's on Woodrow Wilson because some fool out there shooting guns. Yep. We lost Kentucky Fried Chicken on Woodrow Wilson, who takes chicken out of the inner city neighborhood. Who takes chicken out of the inner city neighborhood? Man, could you imagine if a white guy said that? Ooh. We lost drugstores because people need to go in there stealing. We've got to give these businesses a chance to succeed. You do. And that's by changing the culture and not honoring and glorifying these fools who do that. And it also means you crack down on crime and you go in there and you bust some skulls. I'm not talking like actual physical violence, but you drop the hammer on them legally. You have a DA perhaps who isn't under the indictment of the FBI. Dare I say a conservative Republican DA. Who you don't worry about the pigmentation in their skin. You worry about, can they drop the hammer? You don't worry about whether they're male or female. Can they drop the legal hammer? And then, but who else is responsible for this nonsense? The judges who give these lenient sentences out there. They just sit there and let these jokers go. They just let these jokers go. It's infuriating to me. And then Tina Clay also said something here at the end. She just has a quick paragraph, so I'll read that. Mr. Martin, we want you to stay in the community, and we hope that the crime prevention will be something that works, that we can prevent crimes in the community and appreciate you in the community. No, we'll park a squad car in the parking lot overnight for a couple weeks straight to try to cut down foot traffic. And no call from Jody Owen saying, hey, we're actively investigating it. Why did they have to go to U.S. attorney? Why can't they go to Jody? This was posted at 10:30 in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, people saying that I loaded this. No, I didn't. The comments. I'm not going to read the comments, although that would be another show in and of itself. Long story short, get over to Kingfish's Jackson Jambalaya and read this story that's called Too Little, Too Late, posted Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. It's got the YouTube video there too if you don't want to read. Or if you're a 14-year-old who hasn't been taught how to read properly, you can go ahead and watch the video. You can click it. Because our education system is failing, not because of the teachers, but because of the culture. Look, this is all coming back to culture. And I'm not saying it's white culture, black culture. It's just the American culture. It's all melting pot. Are we stressing in the importance of reading, writing, and being a good citizen? I think we're rapidly coming to a point where the mirror is going to be turned on us all, and we're not going to like what we see. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show. Last segment for the day. You know, if we can't honestly have conversations about Black businesses leaving Jackson because of crime, then what's that say about us as a society where we can't honestly talk about it? And no one's saying anything based on mentality or anything. It's just where it is. It's where it is. But you think it's bad, ladies and gentlemen? We'll try to end on a little bit of levity. The French are invading Texas. I repeat, the French are invading Texas. And ladies and gentlemen, they are not impressed. You're going to have to listen to this carefully. He's got a French accent, but he's got some complaints with Texas. If he's got complaints with Texas, he sure as heck is going to have some complaints with Mississippi.
People keep telling me, be careful in Texas. Bro, I've been here for 3 days. The only danger is developing a lifelong addiction to brisket and accidentally saying y'all with my French accent. Everyone warned me like I was entering a war zone. Stay safe, Eros, it's dangerous. Dangerous where? The only thing that almost killed me is the portion size of the barbecue plate I ordered. I asked for just a little and they handed me a dinosaur rib with emotional support pickles. Don't get me started on the cars here. I rented a truck so big I don't drive it, I pilot it. That thing has more buttons than my camera. When I parallel park, NASA gets a notification. Truck is so high, I need a warm-up to climb inside. Leg day, no need, Texas handles it. People say drive safe. Brother, I am the safest thing on the road. People have guns here and the vibe is impeccable. Everyone is nice. Everyone holds the door. Everyone calls you sir. In France, they call you hurry up. Here they say, have a blessed day. I nearly converted to something. Honestly, Texas is not scary. It's peaceful. It's friendly. It's delicious. The only time I felt threatened was when they asked if I want my barbecue spicy. I'm still recovering. So yeah, people told me, watch out. But the way I see it, the only real danger in Texas is living with 10 new personality traits, 15 pounds of smoked meat, and a truck you cannot afford back home. People...
What a great video. People coming to Texas, people coming to Mississippi saying, oh, you got to watch out for Mississippi. Andy, you're not going to like it down there. Yeah, you don't want to come down here to Mississippi. I continue to argue that Mississippi is the greatest state to live in. Texas is a distant second, maybe third. But my point to that video is that there are stereotypes that are out there and we've got to break them. We absolutely have to break them. We can't afford to sit here and continue just putting our heads in the sand, making political speeches about businesses that are going out of business because of crime. We have to have real solutions. And look, I'm not here to bash on anybody, but when I see stuff like that, man, I get fired up. And honestly, I can sit here and talk about it. People are saying, I didn't understand a word that dude said in French. Yeah. Well, I shared it on X. Go watch it. It's worth it. But my point is this, is if we can't sit here and talk about it and we can't influence the culture and the community inside Jackson, well, then we are going to lose it. It's going to have to get a lot worse before it gets better. And that doesn't bode well for any of us. You think the oil prices are high now? Just wait. America, are you tired of winning? Do you have an aversion to winning? Because we can win if we come together, if we work together. Military just got another couple ships through. It just came through my news feed. It's going to open up. It's going to take time. But nothing ever comes good that comes quickly. We all know that all too well. Take care, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, take care. Be blessed. Yes and amen. Amen.